In this tutorial, we're going to talk about working with images in the Microsoft Word print version of the newsletter with fast newsletters. There are three ways to work with images inside this newsletter. One is called In Place, two is On Top, and three is Inline. Let's start with In Place because that's the easiest. Just as it sounds, you're going to replace an image in place. So let's take a look at this image here on the top right. If you want to change this image, you would right-click on top of the image, and that brings up this floating menu. Choose Change Picture, and then you'll choose the image that you already have stored on your own computer. Because you're doing an in-place replacement, you want to choose a picture that has similar dimensions. So you'd want to choose something that's vertical and relatively narrow. For example, I'll choose this image from my own computer, and you can see that it inserts in approximately the same place. The dimensions are a little different, and in this case, because it's not a person's face or an easily recognizable building, I'll probably just stretch this a little bit to better fit the space. So that's replacing an image in place, and that's exactly the same method you use when you want to replace your personal image in the newsletter. Right-click on your image, change picture, find your picture on your computer, insert it, and then resize and position it as you like, and the same again with your logo. That's the in-place methodology. Now let's look at the on-top method. If you want to wrap text around an image, either to the left or to the right, you have to use the on-top method. This newsletter is designed in text boxes. It's not designed as a linear document, so whenever you click on the text inside of any area of this newsletter, you'll see the dotted line around it, and that indicates a text box. An unfortunate feature of Microsoft Word is that you can't insert an image inside of a text box and then wrap text around it. So that means any image that you see that's illustrating an article, whether it's to the right or to the left of the article, is actually floating around on top of the article. And I can move this wherever I want and put it on top of any text in the newsletter. So how did we get this wraparound effect? We actually moved this text over. I'll show you how to do that. Highlight any text that you want to move to the left or to the right, and then on this ruler bar here, find the icons that say left indent, and then there's one over here on the right that says right indent. So to move this left margin back over, I would click on that left indent and hold my mouse button down, and I'm able to slide that left margin of the text over. I could do the same on the right, slide that right margin over. And make sure that the text doesn't fall below the box down here. That's gone too far, and now I'm losing the text, so I would bring it back. And then I'd be able to move my image into the new empty space, and again that creates that wraparound effect. Let's go ahead and delete this image, and we're going to put this text back to the right margin. And if I had just typed my text in, I'd want to make sure I had a little extra space so that when I add an image and I start forcing this text down, it has a place to go. If I insert the image inside the text box, it's going to insert in line. It won't insert as a floating image. I'll just illustrate by selecting an image. And what it's done is it's forced the text downward and it's wedged itself between two lines of text. And there's no way for me to manipulate the text around it. I can't use wrap text, and in fact you see that's grayed out up here on the Format tab. So how do I insert an image on top so that I can put it into an empty space that I create when I move my margins around? Well, let's start by moving the margin to, say, this level of vertical. I'm going to move that margin over. I'm keeping my eye on the bottom so that it doesn't drop below the line, and about right there. You can see the white space here. That's where I want my image to go. To insert an image on top where I can manipulate it, I have to come up here to the right corner and click once. All I'm doing is putting my cursor into the background behind all these layers, and you can see that I'm just going to move this down and put my cursor here again, and you can see that it'll appear over here and blink on the left side, and that's what it's supposed to do. Put that bar back. I'm going to insert the image, and now it's on top, but I can't yet move it anywhere I want to on the page. One more thing I have to do is wrap the text and put it in front of text. You can also do that with this little box here, the layout options box, and again this puts it in front of text. Now that it's there in front of text, I can manipulate it and move it around any way I want. And I'm going to go ahead and put it over here close to my position, resize it. I don't need so much space off to the left, so I'm going to take that little margin icon again and slide my text to the right a little bit until I'm satisfied with the way things are balanced. Finally, let's take a look at using images inline. Remember I said that an inline image forces itself in between two lines of text. It wedges itself in there. Well, if I don't have any text down here, then that's not a problem. I can just insert the image right into this empty space, which is great if you're a real estate agent, you want to put a listing in, or you want to just put a great big image of something that you've done for a client and a little bit of text to caption that. And you don't care about whether it's wedged in or whether you're able to move it around because you're not trying to wrap the text to the right or the left. So just delete all the text that you don't want, type over anything that you do want to change, and then you retype the text here to describe your picture, enter a new line below this, and then insert your picture. Now the great thing about this, you can't wrap it to the left or right, but what you can do, can enlarge this image as big as you want, and anything that goes outside of those text boxes will not show. And so it's a great way to zoom in on something if you really want to make a part of your picture large without having to do any photo editing. And if you wanted to keep that a little bit smaller, if you wanted to caption below it, you could do that. Just put your cursor to the right of the image, enter space, because this image is actually acting like a line of text. Now you can enter more text here. So using an image inline is a great way to add something that illustrates the full width of the article, and you're not trying to wrap text around to the right or left. So now you've seen three methods of working with images. You've got the in place method, which you use to put in your own personal photo and logo. You've got the on top method, which you can use to wrap text around by floating the image on top, by clicking your cursor in that top corner, inserting the image, and then choosing wrap text in front of text, and then move your actual article text over to open up a space to drop your image into. And then finally that inline method. If you have any questions about inserting and using images, go ahead and send us an email and we'll be happy to help you out.